Is $1 million enough to retire? Look, you've probably asked yourself that exact question. Maybe you typed it into Google on a night that you couldn't sleep. And here's the real answer. It depends on one thing, and it's probably not the thing you've been told. It doesn't depend on the stock market. It does not depend on some magic number a TV expert shouts at you. It depends on how you want to live. Now stay with me for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to show you 3 couples, all with the same $1 million, and we'll run each one through this calculator right here you see on the screen. So by the end, you're going to know where you stand. Now, let me be straight about what enough means. That $1 million is your retirement savings. The retirement savings that you spent a lifetime building. Every month in retirement, money comes in from somewhere. Now, for most folks, that's Social Security, maybe a pension from an old job. Right? Then there's what you actually want to spend. Right? The bills, of course. But also the trips, the dinners, the time with grandkids. The difference between what you want to spend and the income you already have coming in, that's the gap. And the gap is the only job your retirement savings has to do. Small gap, $1 million is plenty. Big gap, $1 million has to work harder. Now let me show you what I mean right here in our calculator. All right, let's meet our first couple. They are both age 65, right? And they want to retire right away. I'm going to quickly put in those numbers. Let's call them the careful ones, right? They worked hard, they saved their $1 million, and they're a little scared. They're fearful of running out. They've decided to spend modestly, about $45,000 a year. Well, that's $3,750 a month. Let me put that in here. Got it, right? And then they've got about $36,000 a year from Social Security. That's about $3,000 a month. I'll put that $3,000 here. Pension, we're going to assume no pension. And what they've saved for retirement, they've saved $1 million. And so we put $1 million here. And then they've got, we're going to say they have about $750,000 of that in pre-tax money. All right, I'm going to put that $750 here. Now we're going to hit the Show Me button. Now, their Social Security covers most of it, right? They have a $9,000 a year gap, so their savings has to fill it. That gap is pretty small. It's a little under 1% a year. Now, the old rule of thumb says you can safely pull out about 4%. They're covered for all 3 traditional safe withdrawal rates. These folks are pulling almost nothing. And here's the quiet tragedy. This couple can afford far more life than they're living. They're pinching every penny because they're scared of a storm that for them is not even coming. Now hold that thought because we're going to come back to them later. Now we have our second couple. All right, the same $1 million. Let me get back up here. And we're going to leave most of these entries the same. They want comfortable, not careful. They're wanting the nicer car now and then. They want a real vacation and not a guilt trip. That's about, they're saying about $65,000 a year. Well, that's $5,417 a month. So I'm going to put 5417 here. Right? They still have this $36,000 a year, $3,000 a month in Social Security, no pension. The rest of the numbers, they stay the same. Let me hit the Show Me button. Is it enough? Now, their savings has more to do. The $29,000 annual gap is $2,417 a month. It works out to be about 2.9% a year. Right? That's still well inside the safe range for all these 3 traditional safe withdrawal rates. $1 million handles this comfortably with room to breathe. But do you notice what's happening? So the same $1 million and the answer to is it enough is already moving. We've not touched the market once. It's the spending that moves the needle. Now we've got our third couple. All right, they've got the same $1 million again. We're going to leave most of the entries the same here. But these two, they're done apologizing for what they want. They want the full life. Right? That's about $90,000 a year. That's $7,500 a month, right? See, they want the big anniversary trip. They flying the kids and grandkids in. The memories while everyone is still healthy enough to make them. So I'm going to go ahead and put their $7,500 right here. $7,500. Okay. $36,000 a year for Social Security. That's $3,000. No pension. Everything's the same. Let me go down here and hit the Show button, the Show Me button. All right. So now their gap is $54,000. That's $4,500 a month. Now their savings is working hard. The calculator shows are about a 5.4% a year, every year for 30 years or more to come. That's close to the top edge. The first two traditional safe withdrawal rates don't cover it. The top one with the most risk is having to cut spending and outliving your money is the one they fell into. All right. So here's the the usual sales pitch goes quiet because here's the one that Wall Street doesn't want to explain. 5.4% a year only works if the markets behave, and markets don't take requests. If a couple bad years hit early, in the first 10 years when you start pulling money out, the math can turn against you. Right? You are selling while prices are down, and your savings balance shrinks faster than it can ever climb back. The order your investment returns show up in can make or break the whole plan. They're facing a retirement spent worrying about cutting back when all they wanted to do was live well. So is $1 million enough for a couple three on the old pull 5.4% and pray plan? Well, that answer is shaky. Now, is shaky the way to live the best years you have left? Now, here's the part that nobody told couple number three, and this is the whole reason that I do this work. Right? What if you did not have to pray? You can take part of your retirement savings, not all of it, and turn it into protected lifetime income, PLI for short. A paycheck designed to land every month for as long as you live, whatever the market's doing. Watch what happens when couple three sets aside $600,000 of their million and turns it into protected lifetime income. That $600,000 now sends a check for $3,840 a month, $46,080 a year, and it continues for the surviving spouse. Now keep in mind, this amount was for a 65-year-old couple based on what was available when we recorded this in June of 2026. Added to their Social Security, the gap shrinks in a big way. So the other $400,000, it stays invested. It keeps growing for the upgrades, the someday, and the whatever they want to leave behind. Their gap is now about $7,920 a year, just under 2% of that remaining $400,000. That's below even the safest of the safe withdrawal rates. And here's what just happened, and it's bigger than the numbers. The fear is gone. That income is built to last as long as they do, and it does not care if the market drops the day after they retire. The lifestyle that they were scared to live, the essentials, the adventures, and most of all, the memories with the people that they love is now a floor they can stand on instead of a gamble that they have to win. Now, this is what the industry will not tell you. It can take less money to live a bigger life, not more money, less money. Right? And that's because most of what was stopping you was never the math. It was the fear. Now think back to our first couple. Right? The careful ones, they're pinching pennies, they're scared of the storm. What happens to them when they put a floor under their income? They get permission to take the trip, to pick up the check, right? To be the grandparents who show up, not the ones who count every dollar to the end. That couple never needed more money. They had plenty. They needed to stop being afraid of their own retirement. Now, is $1 million enough to retire? Well, now you know the answer. It depends on the life you choose and on whether your income can take a bad market without flinching. Run your own numbers. The same calculator I used today is right below this video, and it's free. Enter your spending, your Social Security, and a pension if you're lucky enough to have one, and see your own gap. When you're ready to find out how much your retirement savings it would take to put a floor under that life you actually want, book a retirement income blueprint call with me. The link is right there. No pressure, no jargon, just your numbers and a straight answer. I'm Kurt Jackson, Retirement Lifestyle Architect. Go live the retirement that you already paid for. Look, everything in this video is illustrative and hypothetical, and as of June 2026, it's education, not investment or tax or legal advice.